The Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota is one of the poorest places in the United States of America. Unemployment runs above 80% in some parts of the reservation. The Oglala Sioux people who live there have endured generations of broken promises from outsiders who arrived with proposals and left with whatever they could carry. In 2014, a group of those outsiders arrived with a proposal. They told the Wakpamni Lake Community Corporation, the economic development arm of the tribe, that they had a way to raise $60 million that would benefit the community for years to come. Tribal bonds, safe, legitimate, profitable. The tribe said yes. They trusted the men with the Yale degrees and the Wall Street connections and the business cards listing names like Rosemont Seneca and Burisma Holdings. The money was stolen, all of it. The man at the center of that story is Devon Archer, Hunter Biden's former best friend in business, board member of Ukraine's largest private gas company, and convicted federal felon. Donald Trump pardoned him on March 25, 2025.
Devon Archer was a former business partner of the Biden family, was prosecuted relating to a fraud investigation.
He was a victim of a crime, as far as I'm concerned. Congratulations, Devon.
The Oglala Sioux Tribe is still waiting for their money. Devon Archer and Hunter Biden co-founded the investment advisory firm Rosemont Seneca Partners in 2009. The firm positioned itself at the intersection of democratic political access and global investment opportunity. From 2014 to 2019, Archer and Hunter Biden served together on the board of Burisma Holdings, one of Ukraine's largest private natural gas producers. Archer would later testify before Congress that Joe Biden, then vice president, had joined phone calls and dinners with the business associates during that period, bringing, in Archer's words, the Biden brand to the table. By any measure, Devon Archer was a man at the center of the American elite power, connected to the most influential political families of his generation. He had every advantage the world could provide. And he used some of that position to steal $60 million from one of the poorest communities in North America. The charges. The scheme that sent Devon Archer to a federal conviction began in 2014 and ran through 2016. It was organized primarily by businessman Jason Galanis, a repeat fraudster with a long history of securities violations. Essentially, a form of borrowing backed by the tribe's name and sovereign status, and the proceeds would be invested in annuities that would generate steady income for the community for years to come. But instead of investing the $60 million in annuities as promised, they diverted the money entirely. A $10 million apartment in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood was purchased in Devon Archer's name using stolen bond proceeds. The tribal bond holders, the actual investors whose money had been used to buy the bonds, were left holding instruments they could not redeem. The money was simply gone. 7 people were charged. Jason Galanis pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. Devon Archer went to trial in Manhattan. In 2018, a federal jury convicted him of securities fraud and conspiracy. In 2022, Judge Abrams sentenced Archer to 1 year and 1 day in federal prison and ordered him to pay $43 million in restitution and forfeit an additional $15 million. He was free on bail when Donald Trump's team called. How he got the pardon. Devon Archer's path to a presidential pardon ran directly through the United States Congress, and specifically through the House Oversight and Accountability Committee's investigation into Hunter Biden. In 2023, Archer sat for a closed-door interview with the committee. A 141-page transcript released days later showed Archer testifying that Hunter Biden had placed Joe Biden on speakerphone during meetings with foreign business associates on at least 24 occasions. Not to transact business, Archer said, but to project the power and proximity of the Biden brand. He testified that Joe Biden had told him directly, "You do a favor for me, you're a friend. You do a favor for my son, you're a friend for life." To Republican investigators, Archer was a gift. A convicted felon, yes, but a credible first-hand witness to the inner working of Hunter Biden's business dealings, willing to appear on Fox News.
Why is your father's apparatus, persecuting me? I don't understand this. You were in this deal with me. I did nothing. I made no money. I don't understand it. And he gave me a very, lofty answer about our justice system and its fairness. And that was absolutely inaccurate.
The tone and tenor of Archer's prosecution had changed dramatically after he began cooperating with congressional investigators and serving as a witness against Hunter Biden and the Biden family. On March 25, 2025, Trump signed a full and unconditional pardon for Devon Archer.
We have a pardon for Devon Archer. Devon Archer was a former business partner of the Biden family, was prosecuted relating to a fraud investigation.
And many people have asked me to do this. I think he was treated very unfairly. And I looked at the records, studied the records, and he was a victim of a crime, as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to undo that. Devon Archer. Congratulations, Devon.
Archer appeared that night on Fox News with Jesse Waters and said he had never thought he'd need a pardon because Joe Biden and Hunter had promised to take care of him. Devon Archer had made himself valuable to one side of American politics, and in return he received a pardon that erased a conviction upheld by a federal jury, a federal appeals court, and declined review by the Supreme Court of the United States. Why was it controversial? The legal debate around Devon Archer's culpability was genuine and ran through every stage of his case. Archer's defenders argue that Jason Galanis was the architect and primary beneficiary of the fraud. Devon Archer became a Republican political asset by testifying against Hunter Biden, appeared on Fox News, and received the presidential pardon within weeks. Trump's own staff framed the pardon explicitly around Archer's cooperation against the Bidens. The message was not subtle. Cooperate with our investigation of our political enemies, and we will take care of you. No one from the administration reached out to the tribal leadership before the pardon was signed. The tribe had watched their economic development arm be defrauded of $60 million, then watched the president erase that accountability with a congratulations and a handshake on live TV. Collateral damage. The bondholders, whose client funds had been used to purchase the tribal bonds, lost money they could never recover. Archer was ordered to pay $43 million in restitution. He never paid it. The pardon does not automatically erase a restitution order, but it fundamentally alters the legal landscape around enforcement. At Archer's original sentencing, his own statement acknowledged the harm. He said, "I was doing too many things at once and not paying enough attention. I have deep remorse for the victims of the crime." Whether that remorse was genuine, it was expressed. The Wakpamni Lake Community Corporation never received an apology from the White House. Devon Archer flew to Washington, stood in the Oval Office, and shook the hand of the President of the United States. He appeared on Fox News the night of his pardon, called himself a victim, and said he was grateful to the President.
God bless President Trump. I'm really thankful that we have a leader like him.
His co-conspirator, Jason Galanis, received a 14-year sentence and separately cooperated with House Republicans against the Bidens. Had his own sentence commuted by Trump shortly after Archer's pardon.
Jason Galanis, glad everything worked out for you. Certainly the Biden family was not looking out for you.
The Oglala Sioux Tribe has not been made whole. The restitution order exists on paper. Whether it will ever be enforced against a pardoned man whose political value has already been extracted is a question the courts will eventually have to answer. Devon Archer called himself collateral damage. The Wakpamni Lake Community Corporation might have a different word for it. This is episode 4 of Pardon. Subscribe, because this list is long, and every name of it has a story that the pardon was designed to make you forget.